Hello, hello, and welcome back to Death Stranding. Strand Wolf. I only just now realized that the brand of tire doesn't really look like a wolf to me. It's more like a badger or maybe a puma. Anyway, let's some people may know I've started off like on and off writing fan fiction and publishing segments of it to the Ko-fi before releasing it fully to why am I going this way? Before releasing it fully to AO3. And something I think I want to try that's been sitting in my head for a hot minute, and I might try and do post Death Stranding 2. Because my fanfictions always take the flavor of crossovers. I take two fictional worlds, well, for the most part anyway. It's two fictional worlds and smash them together. So like the main one I'm writing right now is what if the Outsider existed in the world of Fallout and gave the Courier the Outsider's mark? An idea I've been playing with in my head is, what if Sam Porter was the Courier? And the idea would go a little further than that, because, like, I don't want to just transplant a character, or a single character or anything like that. I would like to transport concepts wholesale. So, like, I'm still debating it in my head, but, like, maybe I'd put the Death Stranding into the world of Fallout New Vegas with this, and think about how that affects things. But then I'm like, oh, but the Death Stranding is so absolutely bonkers that it would just demolish the entire world of Fallout. Like, the Death Stranding is such an intense thing that any world you would put it in would immediately, like, fundamentally rewrite that world, you know? What's ideas? Ideas that are in my head. Alright, let's do... I don't have anything for them, but they may have some things for me. I'm not finding anything for the people who said these people would have things for. Come on. Really? Nothing for Veteran Porter here? Alright. Now let's go to Weather Station next. And we'll hope we find some things for people there. Words. The highway, 'tis a red herring. It is not a good way to get to Weather Station. I love the characters in this. This feels like a world you could very easily create, like an OC prepper to put in, you know? Think about how your own character would survive in this world and what their prepping station would be and what deliveries they would receive. It's such a simple, fun concept. An immediate idea that hits my head. So I have a character that I created a while back for a superhero campaign I was in. Johnny Quantum. The whole shtick of him is that he is, his personality is he is Ferris Bueller, essentially. Like, Ned's Declassified meets Ferris Bueller. You know, like, high school / college age kid, like, going into college. Like, generally speaking, when I do the setting, he's a fresh high school graduate trying to decide what college he wants to go to. But, you know, young adult who has all through high school gone on Ferris Bueller / Ned's Declassified journeys, helping out everybody who he cares about. So, like, from the get-go, his personality has always been a personality of, I want to help people in any way I can. And then what generally happens, or like what happened in the superhero setting he was made for, I've repurposed him a couple of times and made it, like, changed the story slightly in the past. But his scientist grandfather who is working on quantum entanglement and studying quantum energies, invites him to the lab to help in an experiment because Johnny Quinton is a very science-minded individual and he loves working with his uncle. And he gets, like, accidents in the lab occurs and he becomes quantumly entangled, which is MacGuffin power. Like, literally, he can do whatever powers I choose to have him level up into, but depending on the setting. Generally, he starts off with the abilities to imbue things with quantum energy and some form of flight or levitation. And I generally make it, like, has a character roleplay thing. His energy generation, while it is incredibly efficient and is great, his body does have an increased need for sugars. So he's often, like, drinking soda pop and eating candy in order to keep himself charged up. And it's a whole fun character. And in my brain, I'm like, you could tuck Johnny Quantum into this world. But he, instead of being quantumly entangled, he's, like, Kyrillian infused. I don't know exactly, like, you know, some Kyrillium experiment is going on, and something fucks up, and then he's got crazy shit in him, you know? There we go, stuff for Veteran Porter. More, ooh. Okay, no, that's all. Wait, who else has things for Veteran Porter? Also, I forgot to set up an episode timer, but whatever. I have my backup timer I can look at. Okay, yeah. I know what we're doing. Just thinking about my long-term plans. Come on. And now we want to go to the chiral artist. Now, Trick's a little beat up, though, so I'm debating if I want to stop and rest at a city for it. But it's not, like, on the brink of exploding beat up, I don't think. Another character that is, like, like, it's weird. I've never thought of myself as, like, a person who had, like, oh, I have OCs. These are my OCs. Because, like, in my brain, that's always especially a very much an artist thing to do. Or, like, a self-insert-y thing to do. But I guess, like, as a DM doing D&D, I've been creating OCs for years. I just never viewed them that way, you know? Come on. There we go. Another one is who is a D&D character I always like to play whenever I can get a DM that approves multi-classing. Is a fighter sorcerer, and he's a dragon sorcerer in D&D. And so the setup usually is that he's always, like, he generally, so depending on what level the DM allows us to start at, he always starts at, with all of his initial levels go into fighter, all except the one into sorcerer. And the idea is that, like, he's part of the Wildheart clan, and what the Wildheart clan is a clan of, like, in times before the feudalistic era, or whatever time period the campaign's set in, like in ancient times before civilization was predominant around the world, the Wildhearts were a clan of nomadic people. And, they took pride in their ability to travel the world and, like, never, like, spend too long in one location. But then as the world grew civilized, they had to adapt their lifestyle in order to not get taken out with other nomadic tribes. And so they became traveling merchants. They're a guild of traveling merchants, the Wildhearts. Okay, we gotta head to South Knot to fix this up. Come on. I know you can get over this. And they consider themselves like a family and a clan, but they will let pretty much anybody join if they think the person is good and has the spirit. And Drake Wildheart was found by them as a young boy after his family died. He was so young that he never actually knew his birth parents. So the Wild Hearts have always been his family as far as he's concerned. And what happens is, so he grew up with them as a traveler, and he's like very much like, he's a fighter, but he's fighter by way of swashbuckling. Like he's more of a, he's not so much like a medieval knight fighter, but more of like a princess bride fighter. Dude, turn your truck. He's like a character from The Princess Bride. Swashbuckling style fighting. And he's always, he's a very braggadocious ladies' man and man's man. Whenever they stop at a town, he heads to the bar, he drinks, he boasts about how many fights he's won and how awesome he is, and most of it is made up stories. And I use this as a way to make him reference any previous campaign he has been in. It has his made up stories. And so he will go and like that's sort of the life he's always lived, and the leader of the Wildheart clan has always been like, oh, you need to learn to take responsibility and be more mature. Like the leader of the clan has always been very much his primary father figure. And then one day, this is all backstory for his character for any D&D world he's in. One day, the clan is hired to transport a gem containing an ancient red worm's soul. A red worm being an incredibly powerful ancient dragon. And while they are transporting it, midway through delivery, they get attacked as if some people knew the path the gem was taking. People who want to steal the gem. They attack them and a crazy fight breaks out and the whole clan starts to get killed. But Drake is given the gem and, told to run. And as he is, he will inevitably trip, fall, box holding the gem flies open, and a stray bolt hits the gem, shattering it, freeing the spirit of the dragon, which flies around, attacking people, and just being a general terrifying menace. And it, kills a bunch of the people on both sides of the fight. And then what happens is... Sorry, I'm just... I'm doing things in the game that require slightly more brain power, so it's fucking up me talking. Let's rest in the private room. What always ends up happening, or what happens is, like, the gem, when the gem breaks, a small shard of it embeds into his forehead. And as the dragon soul flies around, it ends up getting pulled to that gem shard like a lightning rod. And the spirit of this dragon gets embedded in him. And it is pissed to be stuck in such a puny mortal form. It still thinks of itself as this amazing, powerful, godlike being, but now it's stuck in a human body and can't use most of its magic, and it's angry about that. And so the way that I play it is I will play as the fighter in combat until I hit half health, at which point the dragon takes control. And the because Drake is growing so weak that he can't hold back the dragon from possessing him. And when it takes control, it suddenly starts using its spells. And then when spell slots run out, Drake is put back in control. And, Drake is very much, a charming swashbuckler, likes to talk big about himself, but as he gets the dragon in him and he has to deal with this very full of itself braggadocious dragon in him, it begins to humble him and make him, moderate him out. So the human becomes calmer as the dragon because the dragon pisses him off. And he's just like, is this how I sound to everybody? Fuck. And then the dragon, over time being stuck in a human form, also becomes humbled. And generally, I will do, 2 levels to sorcerer per 1 level to fighting as I level them up. It's a fun character to play. And then I also have a villain that I like to regularly reuse in D&D campaigns, is, Los Lobos Malo. The big bad wolf. And yeah, I originally made him for an Atomic Highway campaign, which is like, like a Mad Maxi with mutants, and he's like a wolf mutant who has an obsession with guns and collecting legendary guns. Who sounds like a cutie, Drake or Los Lobos? Ooh, let's read this. The novelist's son, a new type of crylobite. Hey Sam, have you eaten the crylobite I gave you yet? It's one of several I found inside of a gourd, you know. Yes, I was surprised too, but maybe I shouldn't have been. Gourds are pretty weird and wonderful after all. I told you before about how they were once thought to ward off evil spirits, right? Anyway, I figured that a crylobite from a gourd's gotta be special. So, I decided to chow down on one and see what would happen. The effect was practically immediate. It was like I'd fallen into some kind of dreamland. Mwah. Now, I know what you're thinking, but it wasn't like I was tripping on drugs or anything like that. This was something really real, and not entirely in my head. I even did some reading afterwards and deduced that I was actually a special type of crylobite, maybe even a mutation, and that eating it sends your hermetic regeneration levels through the roof. So that really changed things. I don't want to bother you with regular gourds anymore. Only the bad boys with these biotites growing inside of them. I've decided to call them D Crylobites. By the way, D stands for dream. Get it? The taste is a bit dreamy too, once you get used to it. Kind of. Well, balanced or something, like herbal medicine. The good kind, I mean. I've got a feeling it's not going to be for everyone, though. Those with less cultivated palates might even find them disgusting. Ugh. You're not that fussy, though, are you, Sam? Go on, taste the dream. I just know you'll love it. Yeah, just talking about characters I've come up with. Lobo, like I said, Lobo's always a fun villain to run. I've been considering adding some more original characters to the Hero Infinite campaign, because right now it's primarily been, like, characters from a pre-existing media. I did make an original villain for Starling, though. Let's recycle these. Alright, come on. Confirm. And actually, hang on. While I'm here... Sorry, I know we just went out of this menu, but let me also recycle... our damaged mask to just make a new one. Might as well. Oh, hang on. Let's make a new one first. Ah, you know what? Nah, fuck it. I don't care anymore. Let's throw this into our truck. And let's get some chiralium. There we go. What time is it? Alright. Skip. Alright, let's go ahead and get in our truck. And let's get over to the chiral artist at the very least before we wrap things up. Man, I've also been, a friend of mine lent me their comics of a manga series that they read, called Siren, and I've been very much enjoying it. He, based a, ooh, Jesus. We did a D&D campaign based off of it, that was very, very fun, and he offered to lend me the books that inspired it afterwards, and I've been reading through it, and it's a good series. Alright, come on. Yes, I know there's ghosts in the area. I'm not scared. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. We just hug the water. We'll never get anything so they don't sit too close to the... Oh shit, we're getting stuck in the tar. We're good. The quickest way to her is to just hug this lake. I can never hear the Ghostbusters theme without thinking of that video. I'm an adult virgin. I wish the new Ghostbusters movie was better. It's not like... What I think hurts most about it is it's by no means terrible. There's so much about that new Ghostbusters film, the reboot one, the all-female one. There's so much that was almost super good. But, like, it just barely feels like it fell shy of the original, which is a shame. Like, I love all the new tech. I don't think the way they handled the characters was too bad. Making the cast all female wasn't bad. I think the villain was fairly well handled, and I like them making the villain look like the ghost from the logo. That was cute. Like, there's elements of it that I think were very good. But, like, a majority of the humor did not land for me. And that was the big issue, is with how joke-driven they made it. If the jokes don't land, it's just not going to be good for you. The original Ghostbusters, jokes were very much on the back burner, you know? Oh, that's spirituals. Okay, take this. Alright. Now load all of that up. And now we're gonna make our way to the veteran quarter.
Order assigned.
Oh wait, hang on, I have deliveries for her. Ma'am? Ma'am? Oh, I don't. Oh, never mind, I'm done. I think what would have made that Ghostbusters movie be better received was if they didn't treat it as a reboot. If they just said, like, hey, like, these are the modern Ghostbusters. The original Ghostbusters story still happened. We still have all of the Ghostbusters you love. But, like, they've all been retired for a number of years because ghost sightings stopped appearing. And so, like, you know, we haven't had a need for the Ghostbusters. And then these new Ghostbusters, you know, ghosts start appearing again. So, like, these new Ghostbusters who have some kind of tie to the original Ghostbusters are gonna go and save the day and help out, yada, 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 you know? I think that would have made a lot less people upset. Hang on, I'm trying to think of... Clear it, please. Which, like, to be fair, that's exactly what the other new ones did. You know, the ones where they had the kids. Which I have not seen. Like, that was my thought from the get-go when I saw it. Was like, Ghostbusters does not need a reboot. It just needs a sequel. You know? I generally don't... I'm generally not a fan of reboots unless you're gonna explicitly go out of your way to try and fix issues with the original. Like, honestly, I think Matrix could go for a reboot and would benefit hugely from it. And then after we hit the veteran porter, we're gonna go here. Then boom. Boom. Hang on, let me check something. Scratch those last couple of markers. Boop. 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 And then it will double back. Go to this guy. And then take this path up here, because, yeah, we can drive that, I'm pretty sure. And it's, you know what, no, we can survive going through here. And it should be faster. And then drive. Alright, and we'll figure out more from there. Although, actually, I just realized... Ba-da-ba-bum. We are at the 20-minute mark. So we're gonna wrap up this episode. I hope everybody's enjoyed this episode of Death Stranding. End cards will be appearing in just a moment. Love all you very much, and ta-ta for now. Shadow.